This video is long overdue. I've alluded to it several times. I shoot it all the time. It's always in my safe. Anybody who knows anything about guns knows what this is. Specifically, this is a Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark I Star, 1945 production, long branch, imported into the U.S. I can't remember exactly when or what company. I think it was in the 60s, 67 around there maybe. I don't know. Somewhere down in Virginia or the Carolinas or something. So I don't know a whole lot about this gun. The condition is obviously really, really good for what it is. And, you know, it's kind of in this sweet spot where 1945, so it likely saw service in World War II, maybe right at the tail end, maybe not, who knows. But even if it did, it really didn't see much action or use sitting in a muddy pit somewhere because it's just in really good condition. And this is pretty much all original quality or original parts. It's all matching, which is great. There's my serial number. And now so I would say this was around an 8.5 out of 10 for condition when I got it. It's got the original sling, no bayonet. It has the original Mark III leaf sight on there, which is cool. Those, I think, to me at least, a gun with the original Mark III sight is kind of more valuable in a collector's standpoint than a gun with a Mark I sight. Even though the Mark I sight is a nicer sight and just better, a lot of the guns that were originally outfitted with this type of sight eventually got the Mark I sight as a replacement, whether that was through an armorer post-war, or whether it was through a previous owner commercially. So I think having this and knowing that this has been with the gun throughout its entire life, to me at least, that adds some value. You've also got what I think are the preferable controls with this nice shaped safety rather than just the rounded off one, as well as this cocking piece. I really like that. So there were a few things that kind of take this down a couple notches, or took it down a couple notches. One was the finish on the magazine was ruined, as well as the finish on the butt plate was ruined. My guess is that someone left the magazine separate at some point in a damp area, and then also just left it standing in like muddy terrain at some point, because the butt plate was super rusted out. Lots of pitting on that, and the bluing on the magazine was just gone. So yes, this is my own bluing. It's not 100% matching the finish on the rifle. I think that is Parkerizing or Cerakote or something. I can't remember. But they stopped bluing, I think, in the 20s or something, these rifles. So not the original finish, but it blends in kind of okay, especially from a distance if you're not looking for it. And it's just going to hold up better. I actually just recently did the butt plate, and that came out much darker. There is some discoloration on that, but I'm okay with it because this gun doesn't need to be a beauty queen. But yeah, I'm really happy with my purchase here. I got this for $875, right in the midst of the pandemic. I think it was last October or November or something. So when the gun panic was at its height. This was also my first firearm purchase, which is kind of a weird gun for a first gun, but you know, I love it. I think it's a great shooter. It's not too bad. On recoil, it's relatively accurate. handles well. I mean, these things are famous for their ergonomics. Also, a little piece of information that is not widespread enough on the internet. The Mark I Star, the main difference is the bolt disassembly here. On the Mark I, you get a button back here, so you pull the bolt all the way back, and then you press a button down and pull the bolt head up. On this one, there's this little cutout in the bolt head rail or guide, and I'm sorry this is going to be terrible camera work. But essentially, you line up the bolt head with this cutout, and then you can just rotate it up and pull the bolt right out. It's a very sleek system. There is some stuff that I'm planning on getting for this gun. One would be a bolt disassembly tool. That's something I don't have. I've never taken the firing pin out of this bolt, unfortunately. Also, would be the Mark I sight. I know I said that it increases value to me personally to have the original sight, but just as a shooting instrument, the Mark I sight is better. And if I ever sell it, I can switch it back. And then also a spike bayonet. Sword bayonets are very expensive and rare, so I think a spike bayonet would be cool and would be plenty fun to mess around with. I also have about 24 stripper clips right now. I have a couple actually sitting right here. Just as a side note, the Amazon stripper clips are actually really, really good. The ones that you get with the bandoliers are really, really good. I bought these ones on the workbench here from a local gun store, and they're just a little bit too tight, and it's a terrible time trying to load them and feed them into the gun. So yeah, most of the online ones I've used, basically the stripper clips that come with the bandoliers work really, really well, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's this gun, and just about everything I know about it. And I mean, it's honestly just a really good balance between being a good shooter and being a good collector's item, because it's all matching, good condition, maybe World War II gun, but then it's just a great shooter. It's not a rare, weird, obscure variant of this gun. It's not I don't feel bad shooting it. And some finish was already ruined, so I don't feel bad tooling on it and refinishing some smaller parts. Yeah, so that's my Lee Enfield. I hope in the future to get a jungle carbine and an SMLE and just have a nice little collection, nothing crazy, of Lee Enfields. 303 is also a great caliber to reload for. I have a lot of fun reloading 303. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and if you have any comments,